Greetings, friends. Welcome once again. Today I'm going to be talking about dreams and how they're very strange and how whatever it is, there's something going on here that's not quite understood with purely rational philosophy. So first of all, I'll tell you about two different experiences here. Now, just last night I posted a video and the subject of that video was fraud going on in Africa, where a lot of Westerners are taken advantage of, and they often think that they have a romantic or a potential romantic or sexual partner, and they send lots of money to this person, and the person is using them. So basically, fraud was on my thoughts, and I was putting this video together, and I posted it in the late evening. And then at 3 a.m, Toronto time, because I go to bed very late, my friend Blinksman called me. And I hadn't told him about the video I'd posted. I hadn't talked to him, prior to that. And he called me, and the first thing he asked me, he said, Matthew, I've had a terrible dream, and you were being frauded by a woman, and she was getting all this money out of you. And he asked me, like, are you seeing some woman? Are you, And I said, no, but, and then I told him about the video I made. So he was literally having a dream about fraud connected to me, where I was, like, thinking about fraud on the other side of the world in Canada. Well, not the other side of the world, but far away in another continent. So that's not my dream, that's his dream. But, why, this is not something we talk about normally. This is not something we would, sure, maybe we've discussed that, but just like many other things, it's not a normal thing for us to talk about. So the timing is extremely strange. Now, that's not something you can just, explain by, and of course it's something you can only notice in retrospect. Now, let me tell you another story. I many years ago, when I was in my second year at the University of Toronto in downtown Toronto, I was staying in residence. And my good friend, Nathan, he was really my only good friend in the residence that year. And basically one night I had a dream, and for some, Nathan was in the dream. That's not like I would normally dream about him. But yeah, he appeared in my dream, and I have told this story before, so if you've been subscribing to the channel for a while, I apologize if you've heard this story before. But basically, in my dream, there's a chasm, and there's a bridge over the chasm, a very small bridge, and Nathan is on a tricycle, this tiny, goofy-looking tricycle, and he bikes up to the bridge, and at the last second, veers off course and goes into the chasm, and I'm saying, oh my goodness, my friend has gone into the chasm, and I'm peering over the gap, looking down, and I can't see anything. He's lost. He had some bike accident. He didn't go onto the bridge. He fell into the chasm. That's the dream. The very next morning, in waking reality, in real life, I'm in the meal hall, and Nathan is sitting across from me on the table, and he has the newspaper in front of him. And I haven't told him about my dream. Maybe I was going to, but I haven't had a chance to do that. And Nathan's reading the paper, and he lets out a little laugh about something. And I say, oh, Nathan, what's so funny? And he shows me the newspaper story that he's reading, and it's an article about some unfortunate man who was riding his bike, not a tricycle, but a bike, on some bridge in Toronto and had some accident and fell off the bridge and unfortunately died. I don't know who the man was. The story was more or less irrelevant. I don't know what the purpose of this connection would be. But clearly there's something extremely odd and about me dreaming about him related to a bike and a bike accident and missing a bridge, and then only hours later, less than 12 hours later, hearing the story of that wasn't his story. It was my dream relating to some real newspaper story, something that happening in reality. So those are my two dream stories. I don't know if anyone else has had a similar experience. This is not a common thing, but dreams are very odd. What the fuck is going on here? So I wrote some notes here, so you'll have to forgive me. I want to conclude this video by reading my notes, and And I just think this kind of stuff is beyond rational explanation. I mean, I could speculate, I could talk about quantum physics and the unified field. I could speculate that consciousness is more attuned to this non-local field of information. And it's more attuned to this field of information during periods of calm and relaxation, especially during the 15 or 20 minutes prior to awakening in the morning. At that stage of sleep, you're already past deep sleep, where your body's basically dead and there's like very little brainwave activity. You're more or less dead. And I think if you remained in that state for a long time, you would probably die. So your body has to move into, moves through different levels. But right before waking is when a lot of these experiences happen, when people have these very vivid dreams. And I think that's because your body has already been rejuvenated. Your mind is starting to become more active, but it hasn't yet fully entered that familiar subject-object split of so-called normal reality. But of course, this is just my opinion. Interpreting dreams is similar to divination. It's very murky, it requires the participation of the diviner, and you can easily get it wrong. But this isn't about prediction, okay? These dreams, if you think you can use it as some model to predict the real world, it's not quite like that. It's not going to serve you that way. Never fall into this simple-minded way of thinking that you can just, predict the world based on something like a dream or based on other forms of divination. No theoretical model can be employed to the divination of dreams, to understanding, interpreting dreams. Each case is totally unique. What this is really about is about symbolism. It's about the way all points of reality reflect each other and connect to each other. So if you ever have a very strange dream involving someone you know, don't just dismiss it. You may want to discuss your dream with this person. The dream isn't necessarily predicting anything, but it may well reflect something real. So, something real going on in the waking world, of course. So feel free to share your thoughts on this matter. I don't know, this is something that's only happened to me very rarely in my life, and again, sometimes it might involve a dream I have, or maybe sometimes a dream another person has. But it is very interesting. I do think there's definitely something going on in that state of consciousness. What is the nature of consciousness? We still don't fully know. And that's all I have to say for now. Hope you enjoyed that. Hasta luego, amigos.